I'm with the lovely Lynette Noni, as opposed to all of the other terrible Lynette Nonis. But this is the only one I know. So, hi, how are you?
I'm so good, thank you.
Good. Now, tell me a little bit about the books that you're working on at the moment. This is your first trilogy?
Yes, actually it's a 5-book series.
Not a trilogy. What is it? A quintology?
Sure. Let's go with that.
That's not a word, but let's just go with it.
Well, let's just call it a series.
Yes. Tell us a bit about your series.
I can do that. Well, it's basically Harry Potter, Narnia, and X-Men rolled into one.
I'm really excited by Harry Potter and Narnia. Okay, they kind of go to, and then X-Men. Where do you have proper mutants?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's set in a fantasy world, but at a fantasy school, like a school for teenagers with supernatural gifts. So everyone has those kind of X-Men style gifts, and they're at a school, and they're in a fantasy world. So you got the trifecta of fantasy sci-fi.
So essentially, we're kind of doing the schooly stuff of Harry Potter, but with a little more training to be badasses.
Exactly like that. That should be the new tagline.
That's okay. You're the writer. I'm just the guy who does the interviews. So, what was it that started you down this path? What was were there any books that you read that made you go, I need to do this?
Basically, it was the opposite. It was a lot of books I was reading that I wasn't enjoying, and I thought, why don't I try and write the book I want to read? And so it kind of was a result of all my favourite things all smashed in together, and it's turned into a book. So.
Fantastic. So you were finding that they weren't hitting the right notes for you. What sort of stuff were you? Oh no, I don't want you to name names because that would be. Tell us all the things about the people that you hate. But what were the things that you felt like you weren't getting?
Yeah. Well, it was more that I was getting a lot of different elements in a lot of different books, and I wanted all those elements in one book. And so, so I wanted really strong friendships. I wanted no insta-love and no love triangles, because in YA at the time, it was kind of post-Twilight, and everything was all about that. So, I had certain themes that I really wanted all together, and I tried to make that happen.
You use the phrase insta-love. Is that a thing? Is that specifically a YA thing, or is it just in general?
In general, I think it's that whole, like in fantasy books, I want an action adventure story, and so if suddenly within the first chapter, the protagonist meets someone else, and then suddenly their eyes meet, and everyone is like falling in love, then you lose the actual story, and it's just about this romance. That's great for a romance book or for another genre, but in fantasy, I want, that's fine to have that in there. It's great, but and I think it's important, but I want it to not be taking over the story.
I'm sort of intrigued by YA because I mean. Growing up, it wasn't a genre that existed. Like, I'm a little older than some people, but like there was kids fiction, and then there was adult fantasy. There was nothing in between. What is it that defines YA as sort of different, in your opinion, anyway? Yeah.
Well, I guess it's mostly about the age of the protagonist. Like I think there's a general consensus. People think young adult books are, they're dumbed down or they're written for younger people, but they're not. There's the demographic of readers is all across the board. It's because the protagonist is generally under about 18 years old, about between 15 to 18, and so it's a coming of age story. They go through, they mature, and they themselves go on a journey to become the adult that they're going to become. And so it's the stories themselves have everything an adult story would have in them. They even often have more, but they're just about a person who's within a short age of life.
I'm here with Vic Mignogna. Vic, thanks for joining me.
She said my name right. That's amazing.
Of course I did. I do my research.
She's a pro, clearly a pro.
Now, Vic, you've been involved in so many different anime, doing voices not only for main characters, but also for little in-between characters.
Absolutely.
You like to refer to them as Soldier A?
Well, first of all, thank you for allowing me to chat with you. Over the course of the time that I've done it, I've done hundreds of different characters, from little one-liner things here and there to fill in the gaps. And we affectionately refer to them, if there's a character that has doesn't even have a name, and they scream and then they die, or they fall off a cliff, or they say something in the background and then they're gone. They're often like, Bystander B, or Man in Restaurant, or Soldier A.
And are they the best characters to perform? Do you really get a kick out of doing those, or do you prefer to really get into a decent chunky character?
I don't know that I would ever have to pick one or the other. I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't say it's an either or thing. But I will say this. One of the funnest things about those little incidental roles is that you can usually have more fun with them. You can usually be a little bit more broad.
Yeah.
For instance, if I was, playing some librarian, I might convince some nerdy librarian, I might convince the director that I could perhaps do the voice like that, welcome to the library, many books here. You can't do that for a whole show. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that kind of, after 2 episodes.
Yeah.
If the lead character sounded like that, you'd get so annoyed with it, you'd be like, I'm done with that. I don't want to hear that voice anymore. But little incidental characters, you can have fun,
them.
Cartoony, a little more broad voice stuff, and it's okay. So that's the fun part about those kind of characters.
Excellent. Now, you've been performing voices for quite a while, and you have a huge fan base. They're obviously...
I'm old.
That's not what I
the
said.
Translation.
No, that's
Somebody
absolutely not what I said.
put down here in the lower third, he's very old.
A little asterisk.
That's right. It's a nice little title underneath
That's
there.
not what I was getting at. What I was going to say is that a lot of your characters have a huge following, and you've got people coming to Supanova, to other conventions, dressed as Edward Elric, who was a while ago for you. Does that keep them alive for you?
It never ceases to humble me and really thrill me. I'm so grateful. I never imagined when I started doing this that anything like this would have ever happened. I certainly never imagined that I would get to play some of the really neat characters that I've got to play. I often tell people you could be an actor, a voice actor your whole life and never get to play a character like Edward Elric. It's just a great character in a really great show, and I was very blessed to get the chance to play him. But I always love seeing fans come to conventions in cosplay as characters that I've played. And it does keep it kind of alive for me. And they'll ask me to say things that the character said, and I'll, it keeps reminding me of it. And I have to remind myself that there are always people that are newly discovering
It's
any
brand
show.
new for them.
Like, oh, that was 10 years ago. No, I just started watching it last week. So there are always new fans coming to the anime world.
The Chris Hemsworth!
I just want to point out to you that this is the single most Australian thing that has ever happened to me. We have the God of Thunder here, and he's walked out on stage, he's got the music, and he just goes, how you going? This is Owen.
Are you nervous about Thanos?
Thanos. We all should be. He's pretty villainous, isn't he? There's a lot of villains coming up that you'll be surprised about and excited about. And look, it's the usual story. I can't say too much about it without being fired potentially. Are you nervous about him? Are you nervous about Thanos? Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. That's all that matters.